Oh, when those saints go marching in, when those saints go marching in, how I want to be. Hey, what's going on, man? This is for the March 16th fight between George Groves and Kenny Anderson for Groves's BBBofC British Super Middleweight title. And what I'm going to do is I'll break down both fighters, and then I will give my prediction at the end. We'll start with George Groves, who's 14-0, with 11 knockouts, 79% knockout ratio there. Very impressive in his last two fights. And maybe that might be taking it a step too far, but I thoroughly enjoyed the knockout that he had over Paul Smith. I thought that was a very, very well-placed chopping right hand that came in there, and he knocked him out in the second round. So that, I mean, that totally shocked everybody, and Paul Smith kind of lost a lot of money by losing that fight. That was bad. It was shocking that he actually was able to pull that off the way he did. And when you look at it, he changed his style, mixed it up when he fought DeGale, and that kind of really, and you can ask a lot of people, and if you want to look at my after-fight afterthought on that fight, you'll see what I thought about the fight. But I mean, ultimately, the judges said he won. He changed up his style, he mixed it up. Had he fought normally, I think he would have lost to DeGale. Anyway, he pumps out the jab. His hands are a bit low. He has good power. He works inside. He hammers that body. He does do that well. He has open for the straight right hand, though. And, you could see that against Smith. And he does have a bit of a chin, there, because he did get caught flush with from Smith. His defense has improved. The chin, it's hard to improve a chin. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's been dropped before by Anderson. He was actually hurt in that fight. He was got caught in that Smith fight, and had there been more time, who knows what would have happened. He throws all his punches with power. He's got a nice overhand right as well as a straight right in there when he does it. Goes high-low well, works in the combos there. He anticipates, has nice timing. I mean, that knockout, or what set up that knockout, was the fact that he was able to time when Smith was getting ready to throw that hook or jab. We don't know what it was, because he landed that shot so clean in there, and he is getting better. He's stepping up each fight that you watch since, like the Anderson fight. We only had 9 fights then, or 10 fights. Since then, he's increased his ability just that little bit, and that's what you want to see with a fighter. You want to see him tighten up his D a little more. You want to see him recognize that, not just doing it, but recognizing it. He was mad in that Smith fight when he got caught. He realizes he has to increase his pace. He can't start out slow anymore. He has to pick up his pace. He can't be as slow a starter as he used to be. He doubles up the hooks. He's open for boxers, but he's still improving, and that's what I'm trying to get on there. He did get touched a bit, when in the DeGale fight, whenever DeGale actually opened up, but and in the Smith fight, he still gets hit pretty flush, but he is tightening that D up, and I believe we'll see more of that in this fight. We won't see, him being as open as he has been in the past. Going over to Kenny Anderson, who's 15-1-0 with 11 knockouts, 69% knockout ratio. This is obviously the rematch. He was knocked out in the 6th round when he fought Groves the first time, but he admittedly only had 2 weeks to prepare for that fight. He dropped Groves in the 3rd, had him hurt, and up until about 3.5 rounds in, I had him winning the fight. I mean, Groves won the first 2 rounds, but that knockdown kind of evened up everything, you know what I'm saying? And then, he goes in there and was winning about halfway through that 4th round, and then Groves kind of took it over from there. But how much of that was just because he wasn't in fight shape, in a sense? Maybe if he had 6 more weeks, for 8 total weeks to train for the fight, maybe he would have been, more crisp, a little more. I mean, he is decidedly, he's going to be the slower of the guys in this fight. He does fight a bit flat-footed or heavy-footed, You know, see a lot of bouncing around. I'm kind of concerned about his overall record when you look at it. I mean, 15-1 looks great, but when 11 of your 16 opponents have losing records, you know, that's not good. The Since he fought, you know, after the Groves fight, he's two of the guys had losing records, but they were all really bums. You know, that he fought. I would like to have seen him step up in class a little bit. You know, maybe actually fight somebody that had a winning record with more than 10 wins, which he's never done. No fighter he's ever fought that's had 10 wins has had a winning record aside from Groves. So when you start looking at that, I think like seven fights is like the top guy that he's ever beat, you know, with wins in there. So that you have to be really concerned about that when you start seeing that. And the fact that he's getting a rematch, you know, maybe that's just because Groves isn't fighting to go, giving him the rematch. You know, that rematch isn't happening. Why isn't it happening? I think that's the biggest thing with this. Let me get back to Anderson. I'm getting carried away there. You know, I'd much rather see the Groves DeGale rematch than this one. Now, he has okay speed. He pushes the pace. Has a good jab, but he does drop that left, and he pulls it back slow. When he fires it out there, he fires the jab, but when he pulls it back slow. So he can get caught with that. He also drops the right when he's jabbing. You'll notice that. And he will work the body. And as I said, he is a bit heavy-footed with that. He's willing to trade and bang. I mean, he had Groves hurt in that first fight, so you can't take that away from him. Did he gas out in that fight? I mean, Groves really started hammering the body in there. You know, will that carry over into the next, into this fight? You know, or will that extra training kind of toughen him up that little bit there to where he can continue to go? I think the fact he didn't step up competition, so we really couldn't see how he does against better fighters, I think that hurts him going into this fight. Because the one thing we can say about Groves is he did step up in competition after he fought Kenny Anderson. He's fought much better fighters and beaten much better fighters than I believe Kenny Anderson is. So I think Groves wins this fight again, and I think he also wins by knockout again. But I'm going to give it the 7th round this time. You know, he's had a couple extra weeks to train for the fight. I think Groves has improved enough, and even with the extra training, I don't think it's going to help. He knows he can hurt him to the body, and that's what I believe he will do in this fight, and we'll see that. Groves winning by knockout in the 7th round. Yeah, I said it, Eduardo. Yeah. All right, so go ahead and make your bets, whatever, however you guys do that. And always remember, you know, if by chance you win and you win well, always remember me in your thoughts, or, you know, get a hold of me, send me $1 or 2. All right? Anyway, this is Big Ragu, all right? I'm out.